You haven't heard of Chris Newman. He's a black and Native American man who turned a decent financial head start into arguably a successful farm that targets those who prefer higher quality and support local small businesses at a premium. It's a fancy way to say the man's stuff is expensive, but to those who can afford it, it's probably worth it. He's been posting for a while and has gained large rise in popularity on his channel, Farming Wild Beige. It's over multiple platforms, namely, I think YouTube and TikTok are the main ones. That could be wrong. And I thought his success online was worth analyzing. Now, he first gained my attention because we have a lot in common. Namely, he's proudly black and Native American. He acknowledges struggles that come with being a black business owner in a way that a lot of people who often wouldn't go through such a thing can understand. He also has shown he heavily believes in doing what's right for his workers, showing them a lot of dignity, and he also has a great sense of humor. There's a lot of things to like about. Now, I don't always agree with him politically. He does do a lot of politics stuff, but even when I don't, I understand where he's coming from, which leads me to my first point. He's relatable. Now, often when garnering a community or an audience, those who become successful in it sometimes project themselves either as being relatable or wish fulfillment or some combination of them. And they also often use some type of character. So, namely being a jester, someone who, exposes things by the nature of being silly or dumb, and a clown by being more slapstick in nature. For example, obviously Martin Lawrence and Adam Sandler more as clowns, and Donald Glover's show Atlanta in one of my favorite cartoons, The Boondocks, they're a little bit more on the jester side of things. If you don't watch those two, then I would say South Park is a lot more jester style and humor. That explanation aside, I would say even though he's very relatable, he has a bit of what's it called a jester style character going on, which is arguably what I'd say he's most known for now. The "What is it now?" is how Chris starts off a lot of his reaction videos, and it seems like those are what gave him the most traction from the best of my analysis. In fact, a lot of people probably know him more as the "What is it now?" guy more than his actual name. It's basically Patrick Warburton impression. If you're not familiar with that guy, he's the actor who does Crunk from the Emperor's New Groove, excuse me, Emperor's New Groove, and Joe from Family Guy, but he also acts, does live action acting a lot. I just a lot of people have heard at least those two, but he pops up in all kinds of places. He's got that very iconic deep voice, and then he follows it up with a slow smile, his lips curling to the top, kind of like the Grinch, in Jim Carrey's or whatever. But he's got that slow smile creeping up. Sometimes he makes it like a headache style cringe face or whatever, but it's that smile is a little bit more iconic, and it's a good hook that gets people turned in. However, it's his knowledge that keeps people watching. Chris has not only a deep knowledge about farming that he shares, especially when it comes to chickens. Insert black person with chicken joke there, but he also shows people in person what he's talking about. He has a farm. He shows videos of stuff in depth, and it does so much more than someone who's just reacting emotionally but providing very little. He also does have a familiar knowledge about politics and different stuff that he goes into. So the reaction videos where people can provide perspective, even if it's anecdotal, tend to do much better than those where people are just laughing or being insulting or getting angry. Though he does have some of those, mostly with the woman who dumps stuff in dirty oil and sets everything on fire. Those can be pretty funny too. Politics, if you've watched a lot of his channel, it would be an elephant in the room, not to mention it, but Chris is very political. I'm not going to get into his politics. That's not the point of this. I'm more trying to analyze what makes him successful. But politics in a channel can either push or attract viewers, especially in a time where the world is so divided. Not to mention, certain political leanings can have a cannibalistic nature to them, where they attack each other over not being in complete agreement over every detail. And other political leanings can attract bad people the way a bar attracts people who unknowingly alter drinks. Now, take from that what you will, but my meager opinion, unlike a lot of YouTubers, streamers, and TikTokers, Chris doesn't appear to be doing it for clout or views. I'd say he does it in spite of them. And though I don't necessarily agree with his politics, I think people respect him more for it because he's doing it out of a genuine earnest to make the world a better place. Now, lastly, I'll mention his book. About a year ago, Chris published a book, First Generation Farming. But unfortunately, there were several people publishing copycats, likely AI hoping to cash in on the name of the book. Now, it seems he was able to deter people away from the copycats, but the challenge of even having to do something like that is worth noting. A lot of people try to reach online success through books. They're low entry money wise and are one of the few ways that people can go from rags to riches. But in the world of AI, where people are willing to do anything to make a buck, it raises challenges that people often aren't aware of. And it likely helped that Chris had enough of a strong online presence to help alert people of the blatant fakes that were out there. Now, that doesn't mean that if you don't have a strong online presence, you can't sell books, or something horrible will happen if you try to sell books. It's just something to be aware of. So what do you think? Have you checked out his channel, Farming Wild Beige? Let me know in the comments. What do you think about his success? Do you think my points hold any merit? Was there something I missed that you think is what made him successful, or do you think he just got lucky? Is there another creator you'd like me to talk about? Do you have a channel you want me to check out? Feel free to let me know. Otherwise, have a great day and stay safe.